I don't know how some people can go on these long-ass 12-hour flights and just be okay the next day. You know those Instagram posts that say, London on Monday, New York on Tuesday, Tokyo on Wednesday, let's get this bread. Like, that's impossible. I just came off of a 10-hour flight. It's been 3 days since I got back as of recording this, and I'm still like, I don't remember what being rested feels like.
So like, how was your trip to Los Angeles? You didn't tell us anything about it.
We'll get to that, goddamn. Let me go get Wilfur first. Rise and shine, Wilfur. It's time to shoot a video. This one will do, I guess. So you may remember we were nominated at the Streamy Awards in the animated category and also for Creator of the Year. Spoiler alert, we didn't win, but I mean that's not a shocker because I 100% called it. And I'm gonna enjoy being nominated for the remaining few days until I inevitably lose to Shane Dawson. Lose to Shane Dawson. Lose to Shane Dawson.
And the Streamy goes to Shane Dawson.
So like, why did you even bother flying all the way out there if you knew you were gonna lose?
I mean, I wasn't gonna waste an opportunity to take Wilfur with me and wear matching tuxes. And in this video I want to recap the whole thing because so much happened while I was out there. I live in Romania. I had never been to the United States. I had to apply for a visa, I got all my things, and after a long ass flight, Wilfur and I landed in Los Angeles.
Wilfur, we're in LA.
So let's talk about the Streamies. There were two separate events. There was of course the big night that you may have seen on the live stream, but 2 days before that there was a secret Streamy event that was not broadcast. They essentially gathered all the nominees in a small theater and they announced the winners to some of the smaller categories that would not fit the main event. Animated being one of them. And that's where I met my arch nemesis, the Odd Ones Out.
Hey Andre, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, James. James came with his boy Adam, aka something else white tea, and I brought my boy Jordan, aka Pivots. And since all four of us are animators, we stuck together the whole evening. Just four animator boys casually hanging out at an award show, as you do.
Wait, where was Wilfur during this thing? Did you forget him at home?
I didn't forget him, okay? Wilfur is a fancy boy. He didn't want to come unless the show was being live streamed, so he skipped the first one and got in his beauty sleep hours to make sure he was looking good on the night of the main event. Meanwhile, we were seated in this theater, and literally on the seat right behind me was Liza Koshy. My boy Jordan leans over and says, "Dude, Liza Koshy is right behind us." And I'm like, I know. And she was probably like, I don't know either of these guys, but they're creeping me out. Do you think she knows we exist? And then they announced the winner for the animated category. James and I threw a good luck glance at each other, and then we looked up at the stage, and the winner was Story Booth. Yep. We both lost. There was an after party, we all had a nice chat, we had a great time, and then we each went our separate ways. By the time I got back to my Airbnb, of course Wilfur had taken over the entire bed. God damn it. So I curled up on the floor and I slept like a baby. 2 days later, it was time for the main event, October 22nd, the Streamy Awards. Everyone was going to be there, and Wilfur and I were prepared to make an entrance. Well, I mean, at least one of us was. I got the tickets right here, we're ready to go. What are you doing, Wilfur? Put your goddamn tux on, we're going to the Streamies. There we go, much better. Now don't give me that look. If we're gonna be late, it's gonna be because of you, okay? So let's get right into the news. But we still got there pretty early. We met up with Jordan again. Alyssa of Illuminations was also there. Here you can see her almost tossing Wilfur over her shoulder. God damn, Alyssa, be gentle. He's a tiny little boy. Because I was nominated, I was supposed to go on the red carpet. Now let me explain the red carpet for anybody like myself who had no idea how any of that stuff worked. All the important people line up with their publicists, waiting for their turn to be interviewed by a bunch of reporters who are also lined up on the other side of the carpet, starting with the most important ones like the Hollywood Reporter, all the way back to the least important ones like, I don't know, trendy topics now and reporting YouTube today. Your publicist is supposed to introduce you to the reporters, otherwise they're not really gonna pay attention to you. So if you don't have a publicist, you're in a pretty awkward situation, which I learned the hard way. Okay, so it's your turn to walk the carpet. Do you have a publicist? I mean, I have a goose. Right. So because I didn't have a publicist, they kind of pushed me to the back with the not so important reporters, who even them, they were like, listen buddy, normally I wouldn't give you the time of day, but I mean, you're holding a purple goose in a tux. I gotta hear what this is all about. And while I was waiting to give my interview, frickin' Poppy makes an appearance.
I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy.
And if you think I was standing out because I was holding Wilfur, Poppy came in with 3 sex slaves on a leash. I mean, you can't compete with that. Also, one of her slaves totally made out with my goose. God damn, Wilfur, I didn't know you were into that kind of stuff. Also on the red carpet, Tana Mojo was in front of me at one point, and she accidentally steps on my foot. She turns around super apologetic and nice. She sees Wilfur and she's like, oh my god, I love your duck. And then she was ushered away to an interview, and as she sprung away, I thought to myself, she has no idea that we made an entire video making fun of her. Then we were seated at the table right next to the table where Rhett and Link were sitting. And I'm such an unsocial idiot who doesn't know how to act in society that I went up to Link as he was having a conversation with someone, and I put my hand on him and I said, hi. And he kind of looked at me like, what? I'm having a conversation right now. And I just walked away in shame, hoping that he would forget about this interaction. I then met Ian from Smosh, and in a similar way, I went up to him and the first thing I say is, do you know who I am? Like, it hurts my brain just thinking about it. What a stupid way to introduce yourself. James DeAngelis from Sugar Pine 7 was also right there, and he turns to me and says, dude, don't ever start a conversation with, do you know who I am? But then I told Ian I'm the animator who did a bunch of stuff for Smosh, and he was like, oh, hey, Andre. And we talked for a little bit, and it was cool. I also got to talk to David Dobrik for a little bit. This time I properly introduced myself. I told him we're both nominated for Creator of the Year, and I just wanted to wish him good luck. And he was super nice. I don't really watch his content, but he seemed like a nice, genuine dude. And then the show started, and in a blink of an eye, the show was over. The Try Guys gave me a nice little shout out on stage.
Andre Turbea for flying himself here from Romania and proving this year that fresh voices can still rise to the top. Yeah!
And then they announced the winner.
Shane Dawson.
And immediately after that, the entire room burst into song and dance.
Let's go! Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
And Wilfur and I kind of just looked at each other and we were like, yup, this seems about right. But really, the whole thing was an amazing experience. I got to meet Danny Casale in person, aka Cool Man Coffee Dan, whom I also went to Disneyland with a few days later on his birthday. I also got to go to a few Halloween parties while I was in town. I've never experienced Halloween because we don't have that in Romania, so that was pretty cool. I met a bunch of animators at one of these parties. I met Jaden Animations, Tim Tom, Billy But Better, a whole bunch of people. Alyssa and Michael Reeves introduced me to the absolute insanity that is TikTok. And ever since then, all I've been thinking about is, I want to be Tracer. I'm already Tracer. I visited the Valley Folk office. I also got to visit the Smosh office just days before Defy Media shut down. It was a real pleasure being invited and getting to meet all of these people. I got to be on YouTubers React while I was out there, which was an absolute honor. I had really interesting conversations with the Fine Bros about the YouTube algorithm and what it means to create content on this platform in today's age. So many things happened while I was in Los Angeles, I barely had any time to process it all. But I feel like my mind expanded just by coming in contact with all of these other creators. Sitting in a room and animating 24/7 is one thing. Of course, practice is important, but also talking to other creators and exchanging ideas is an equally important part in the process of growing as an artist. So at the end of the day, who cares that I didn't win an award? Don't get me wrong, I would have loved to win a Streamy. As an underdog from a country like Romania, as the first animator ever nominated for Creator of the Year, it would have been a great moment to bring that award home. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything. It's the personal growth that I got from this experience that's gonna stick with me. And of course, it goes without saying, all of you watching this video right now, you guys are the ones that helped me get nominated in the first place, so thank you so much for this opportunity.
I hope the plane ride to the States was worth it. Cause
Cause what, James? Cause I didn't win the Streamy? Is that what you're implying?
Alright, wear a seatbelt.
And with that, I'm gonna smoothly transition into some sweet self-promo, because if you haven't seen my last video, we made Wilfur plushies, which is why I'm surrounded by so many Wilfur clones right now. Shh! Oh, sorry. This is a super limited release. There's only 1,000 of these on Earth, and I think at this point there's like 700 left. We're not gonna make any more after this. They're only available until the end of the month, so if you want one, you gotta be fast. By getting a plushie, you are directly sponsoring this channel and helping me make more content without having to rely just on YouTube ads. And you get a cool wilfur plushie in return, so it's a win-win. So if you want to help out the channel and get a plushie, the link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment below. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, and we'll see you again very soon.